Well, moving on now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has raised fresh concerns about the impact of artificial intelligence on jobs, warning that the technology is set to significantly disrupt labor markets across the world. In its latest assessment, the IMF says nearly 40% of global jobs are exposed to AI-driven change, with workers in both advanced and developing economies facing growing pressure to acquire new and more complex skills. While the fund acknowledges that artificial intelligence could improve productivity and economic growth, it warns that inadequate preparation could deepen inequality and job displacement. Now, the report highlights a rising demand for digital, analytical, and adaptive skills as automation reshapes traditional roles across sectors. Now, to examine what this shift means for Nigeria's workforce, employers, and policymakers, we're now being joined by marketing communication expert Olaotan Fawehinmi. Many thanks for joining us on the news now. All right, let's start this way now. The IMF is warning of widespread job disruption from artificial intelligence. How real is this threat for Nigeria's labor market?
Thank you once again, Justin. This threat is very real, and we need to act fast, like I would normally say. You see, the thing with Nigeria is we're blessed. Like we always say, we have one of the youngest and fastest growing workforce in the world. So that's supposed to be an advantage for us. However, the digital readiness is still very low, and the digital adoption is very slow. Right. So that means that if we're not careful, we would be backwards in terms of catching up with the global digital adoption. So that means that for jobs that are routine jobs, low skill jobs, they would not have a place in what's already happening and what's coming. So it's a real threat, and we have to act quickly. We have to understand where the world is going and try to plug ourselves in. This is no longer something that's coming. It's something that is already with us, right? And we see it in almost all the sectors.
All right, Ola, a very interesting one there. But now, which sectors of the nation's economy are most vulnerable to AI-driven disruption, and which ones are likely to benefit?
So the sectors that require human interface, human interactions, will probably be the ones that are most vulnerable. So you think of financial sector or banking operations, you think of administrative work, you think of hospitality. I've worked in hospitality before, so I understand how it works there. It might be a bit tricky for such industries, customer service, call centers, media productions, and all of that. It might be a bit tricky for those because most of the operations are repetitive and they are rule-based, okay? So it might make it a bit difficult. Such industries might be quite vulnerable. However, those who will benefit, I mean, it's a no-brainer. The fintech, the technology-based industries are at an advantage, because their framework are already built on technology anyway. So it's easy for them to leverage AI and what it's bringing to us. So you think of renewable energy, healthcare, fintech, agri-tech, logistics, data services, all of those guys, and even creative industry as well. They are at an advantage because they can use AI to boost productivity, rather than industries where you still need that human interface in whatever it is that you do. That's my opinion.
Okay, now the report stresses the urgent need for new skills. Are Nigerian workers and organizations adapting quickly enough?
No.
Why is
Sorry. Okay, so individuals, like people like us, you and me, we see AI as an enabler, and we're learning it on our own. You go on the internet, you read more about AI and what it can do for you, and in your own little way, you're trying to adapt and use it. But that's individuals trying. Institutions are still lagging behind. If you want to get your driver's license, you still have to fill a lot of forms. If you want to get your international passport, it's still heavy on paper. Go to the ministries, there's still a lot of paperwork. So institutions are lagging behind, even though individuals are trying to learn digital skills. And until organizations and institutions treat AI as what everybody, or tech as what everybody must adopt, then we can't see any significant change, right? As long as we keep seeing it as optional, or we're just experimenting, nothing is going to happen. We're not going to catch up with the global market, right? Because the global market are already building their structures around AI, if you know what I mean. So our skills pipeline will remain at the level where it is, because we're not catching up with the technological change that is happening in the global world. And you see that this gap is really wide, and it's dangerous as we have it right now. And if anything is going to change, institutions have to shift from seeing AI as just what we can, what's optional, to making it the biggest meat on the food.
All right, Ola, I need to understand more. What responsibility should employers and the private sector take in reskilling workers as AI adoption increases?
Okay. So for employers and private sector, most times when we try to get talent, we look for those who are ready-made. You know, the way you go to the market and get ready-made dress for your children, that's how we look for talents. We don't pay so much attention into building existing talent, right? So that way, reskilling and upskilling is seen by most employers and most private institutions as they're doing you a favor. As CSR, like, oh, you're working, I'm training you, I'm doing you a favor. There's this saying, I'm sure you must have heard it before, a CEO telling the CFO that, what if we train people and they go? And the CFO replied, what if we don't and they stay? So if we learn to train people now, it's for the benefit of the business, because what if they don't leave? And they are there rusty, and they're not catching up with the rest of the world. So businesses now have to look into digital training, data literacy. We need to pay more attention to adaptive skills, because if you look at the developing world, developed countries rather, they've gone so far in all of these things. So for businesses, for employers, for anyone in the private sector that wants to stay relevant, that wants to improve efficiency, that want to keep increasing in terms of market share, we have to take upskilling, reskilling as crucial, and not just a CSR project.
All right, I must say a very big thank you to you. We've been speaking with marketing communication expert Olaotan Fawehinmi. I'll be looking at AI and the future of work. Many thanks for being a part of the news.
Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you.